You're climbing K2, the sky's bleeding gray, wind howling like it wants you gone. Your hands are useless blocks of ice. You're dizzy, starved of oxygen. Then you see it, a red backpack wedged in the ice, like it's been there forever. You know the name before you get close. Alison Hargreaves, one of the greatest climbers the world ever saw, and one of the many it never gave back. But this isn't just her story. This is also about her son, Tom Ballard, born into mountains, raised in their shadow, driven by the same obsession his mother had, and, in the end, swallowed by the same fate. 2 lives, 2 legends, 1 bloodline, and the same ending. This is not just a story about climbing, it's a story about legacy, about how ambition can be inherited, about how tragedy doesn't just echo, sometimes it repeats. You're about to hear the story of a mother who defied the impossible, and a son who followed her all the way into the void. Before we start diving into the story of Allison and Tom, just a quick ask. I'm a small creator trying to keep the voices of these climbers alive. If you find meaning in this story, please like, subscribe, or share. It helps me a lot bringing these stories to the people who want to hear them. Let's start with the story of Allison in 1995, the year Alison Hargreaves rewrote the rulebook. She was already well known in climbing circles, a tough, brilliant British alpinist who refused to climb the way people expected her to. No big teams, no sponsors dictating her moves, no nonsense. She had already soloed the north face of the Eiger while 6 months pregnant. That's not folklore, that's fact. She trained in the Scottish Highlands. No glamorous gyms, just cold, wet rock and relentless storms. She was strong, yes, but more importantly, she was smart, careful. She understood mountains better than most people understand themselves. In May 1995, she did something almost unthinkable. She climbed Mount Everest, alone. No bottled oxygen, no Sherpas, and no support team waiting at Camp 4. She reached the summit by herself, radioed down, and walked back down the mountain like it was a local hill. It should have made her a legend overnight, but instead, the headlines focused on one thing. She was a mother. Should a mother be risking her life on Everest? They asked. Is this responsible? Not, look what she accomplished. Not, she just made history. Just judgment. But Allison didn't climb for applause. She climbed for herself. Everest was just the beginning. That same season, she planned to summit the 3 highest peaks in the world: Everest, K2, Kangchenjunga. Her plan was ambitious. No oxygen, no guides, and no shortcuts. After Everest, she went straight to Pakistan, to K2, the savage mountain. Smaller than Everest, yes, but deadlier. 1 out of every 4 people who summit K2 don't make it back down. Its slopes are steeper, its storms more violent. It has no mercy. She joined an international team. Conditions were decent at first. Her teammates described her as strong, composed, and fearless. She often carried more gear than the men. She was the fastest, the most prepared, the calmest under pressure. August 13th, 1995. Allison stood on the summit of K2. She radioed down, "I'm on top." She had done it. 2 8,000-meter peaks in a single summer, solo, without oxygen. No woman had ever achieved that. No human had. But then came the storm. It slammed into the mountain like a freight train. Winds at 160 kilometers per hour. Visibility, 0. Temperatures plummeting. Climbers were blown from ridges. Anchors ripped from rock. Radios fell silent. Allison began her descent. That's the last time anyone heard from her. It was chaotic on the mountain. 1 man was literally blown off the mountain. Allison vanished from the mountain without a trace. Well, not entirely. Weeks later, her backpack was found, frozen into a glacier, still clipped, still zipped, like she had just set it down. Her body was never recovered. She was 33 years old, and she left behind 2 children, including a 6-year-old son who had no idea the mountain had just stolen his mother. That little boy's name? Tom Ballard. He grew up without his mother in his life anymore, but always there, by photos of his mother standing on summits, by news clippings that painted her as brave or either selfish, by strangers who asked, "Aren't you Alison Hargreaves' son?" But Tom didn't just live in her shadow. He walked in her footsteps, literally. As he got older, he trained in the same valleys, climbed the same peaks, and pushed himself with the same relentlessness. He wasn't just good, he was phenomenal, quiet, focused, uninterested in fame. At 26, he soloed all 6 of the Alps' great north faces in a single winter season. That's something nobody had ever done. Not Reinhold Messner, not Uli Steck, nobody. Climbers started whispering, maybe he's even better than his mother. Maybe he's rewriting the rules all over again. But Tom didn't care about comparisons. He cared about purity, about solo ascents, about the challenge itself. He lived out of a van, ate simple meals, carried his own gear, refused help on routes that scared even seasoned guides. He wasn't reckless, he was meticulous. He once turned back from a summit just 200 meters from the top because the snow didn't feel right. Then came 2019, Nanga Parbat, the 9th highest mountain in the world, nicknamed the Killer Mountain, located in Pakistan. Known for avalanches, rockfall, and weather that changes in minutes, winter ascents are almost impossible. Tom partnered with Daniele Nardi, an Italian climber with years of Himalayan experience. Their goal? Climb the Mummery Spur, a route no one had ever completed. A ridgeline so unstable, other climbers called it a death sentence. They trained, waited for a weather window, set up camp, climbed higher and higher, sent updates and smiled in photos. Tom even joked in a video, "I hope I don't disappear like my mother." And then, silence. February 24th, 2019, their last message. Then nothing. No more GPS signals, no more radio calls. No one ever heard from them again. They vanished, just like Allison did. Rescuers launched one of the biggest search missions in Himalayan history. Helicopters flew in dangerous weather, drones scanned ridgelines, climbers from other expeditions volunteered. Nothing. Then, finally, 2 bodies, spotted on a ledge high on the Mummery Spur, lifeless, frozen, still roped together. One of them was Tom. The world reacted with disbelief. Tom Ballard, one of the best young alpinists alive, gone, just like that, on a mountain that had claimed dozens before him. And then the deeper realization set in. 24 years earlier, almost to the day, his mother had vanished in the exact same way. On a different peak, yes, but the same season, the same kind of storm, the same disappearance. Allison, K, 1995, Tom, Nanga Parbat, 2019, 2 climbers, 2 deaths. One story about a mother and a son who were climbing a mountain and never returned home. Some called it fate, others called it a curse. But maybe it was neither. Maybe it was simply who they were. 2 people wired to chase something most of us will never understand. Not risk, not fame, but transcendence. Their lives weren't wasted. They were lived fully. Allison once said, "Mountains aren't fair or unfair. They're just dangerous." Tom lived by the same code. He knew exactly what could happen, and he climbed anyway. Their story is not about death. It's about commitment. It's about what it means to devote yourself fully to something that offers no guarantees, only challenge. Allison didn't die balancing risk and responsibility. She died chasing the summit that called her name. Tom didn't walk in her footsteps. He made his own into the same abyss. Together, they represent something rare, pure ambition, passed from one generation to the next. And in both cases, it led to greatness and to silence, to loss. 2 climbers, 1 legacy, One unspoken question. How far would you go?